Thank you. I'm 16, back in Kansas. Saturday night rush hour, and my first night as a waitress at a very fancy restaurant, the Golden Corral. And apparently another waitress spoke to me and I did not respond. So all the waitresses decided that I was a snob and they were going to get together after work and beat me up. I'm deaf in my left ear. I had no idea I'd been spoken to. Fortunately, the manager intervened and I was spared. But you can imagine how such socially perilous misunderstandings sometimes still crop up. So if you're ever talking to me and I don't answer you, would you please just raise your voice or touch my arm? Because I always want to talk to you. Also, thank you in advance for not beating me up. Fellow speakers, listeners, anyone who has ever dined at the Golden Corral, disability can spice up your life. For instance, I get to train my friends to sit and walk on my right side. Because, of course, it is super fun when somebody sits on your deaf side and then inevitably, in the middle of some really quiet meeting, they will suddenly have an urgent need to just tactfully whisper in your deaf ear. And when you can't hear them, they whisper louder. And the louder they whisper, the more tactful it isn't. And then, if you try to turn your good ear toward them, it totally looks like you're trying to kiss them. On the mouth, which in most cases is also awkward. Now, if you are competing for the spiciest and the most entertaining disability, my blind mother wins that contest hands down. First of all, she doesn't look blind, which causes some problems. Lady comes up to her at church, reaches out to shake her hand. My mom looks straight ahead, doesn't reciprocate. The woman jerks back her hand and marches off in a huff, saying, "That was the rudest woman I've ever not met in my life." You mean Dixie, the blind lady? Another fun thing that happens, somebody feels the need to whisper. "She's blind, just take her hand." And every time my mom wants to yell, "Yeah, but I'm not deaf." There is nothing more damning than whispering or euphemizing about something as if it really were too shameful to say out loud. Instead, my mom has the opposite approach. She will tell funny stories about the mishaps of blindness, about how she has accidentally gotten in somebody else's car, how she has accidentally nosed around in somebody else's grocery cart, and how she has accidentally put her arm around somebody else's husband. And when she found out, was she mortified? No, she laughed her head off and we laughed with her because that's how she raised us. Of course, she could choose to feel shame and humiliation every time something like this happened. But this she defies by making fun of blindness, by making fun out of blindness. As for other disabling family circumstances, there's my father's schizophrenia, my family's desperate poverty and constant near homelessness, and the tragic death of my baby brother at the age of 3. During those difficult years, my teachers kept recommending me to the gifted program. But the principal said, A gifted child does not come from a family like that. What kind of family do you mean, Mr. Smith? Did you know about the brilliance of my father, who taught me to love language and knowledge, and who one day would not let me go out to play until I had learned the Greek alphabet? Or the resilience of my mother, who could feed a family of 5 on $1, and who would not let blindness or poverty or grief keep her from keeping her children housed and fed and clothed and clean. What kind of child did come from a family like that, Mr. Smith? I grew up and went to college. I moved to Japan and taught English at universities for 4 years. I got a master's degree in linguistics with a 4.0, and then I got a full 4-year doctoral fellowship to study linguistics at Georgetown University. I got to teach at Georgetown, at William and Mary, at Texas A&M, and then finally officially became Dr. Everts. Mr. Smith, that's what kind of child came from a family like that. And now here I am talking to you about disability and humor. To diss someone, as Mr. Smith dissed my family, means to disrespect or to dismiss them. Disability. What is truly dissable? What is worthy of being disrespected or dismissed? Treated with disdain, dismay, or disregard? Deafness? Blindness? Mental illness? Poverty? People often feel deep shame about such things. But what if you don't accept the shame? To paraphrase Eleanor Roosevelt, nobody can make you feel ashamed against your will. What if instead you chose to view your hardship through the lens of humor to show that you, and only you, have the power to define their meaning in your life? What if instead of seeing them as holes you'd had to crawl out of, you saw them as mountains that you have climbed and conquered, giving you a view of the world that others do not have? What if you used humor to replace shame with pride and with joy? Can disability really spice up your life? Anything you apply humor to can spice up your life. So in the end, it's really humor and the hope and the defiance that drive it that are the real spice of life. So laugh in the face of adversity, friends. Be hopeful. Be defiant. Be spicy.